click the go button.
Damn it. All right, what is the definition of an introvert, or what is our definition of an introvert?
I'm an introvert.
Stop it. You kind of are, actually.
I know.
Myers-Briggs kind of really oversimplified things, which was their point, which was their goal at the time. They were taking Carl Jung's kind of more complicated stuff and trying to use it more, make it more user-friendly for World War II. Yeah, stuff like that. So they purposely did like I or E, N or S, T or F or whatever. And they knew at the time that it wasn't really that simple, but they were trying to make a test so the general public could kind of filter through it really fast, right? So it was a good intention. Now, later on here, now in 2019 or whatever, it's like things are getting a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
So some things need to be cleared up of like, you're not necessarily an introvert or an extrovert, most likely. It's like that's kind of true sometimes.
It's a spectrum.
Right. Let me kind of jump down to this slide down here if I can. Okay, so
there's the spectrum.
Yeah, if you're like one of these types,
you can probably claim that.
Yeah, this is a classic bell curve, right?
Yeah.
So extremely introverted people over here, extremely extroverted people over here, and then everybody in the middle is a damn ambivert to some degree, right?
Right.
So, but like what really defines you as an introvert? Like as a cartoon character, the world's going to define you as an introvert. And they don't know why. They're like, I don't know. They're just quiet. They're shy. They're antisocial. They don't like to go to parties or whatever, where this person does, right?
Yeah, sure.
But the biggest thing that we found is that we all have a bunch of parts. Anyone who's total savior energy combined is introverted, is what we will call an introvert.
Yeah. Right. Like look at this group, for instance. Okay, so this is like your first two functions, first two savior functions are introverted. This whole box right here.
Right. Sleep and consume.
Your category, when you add we're just looking at the top three animals here. When it's sleep, blast, play.
It goes back up.
Yeah, that's blast and play are the extroverted animals.
Right.
So it adds so much extroverted
So like my
energy.
first letter or function is introverted, but am I an introvert? Not really. Very, very loud and blasty and obnoxious and handsome. The ones on the tip of the bell curve here, more extroverted. Same with over here.
Oh my gosh, my whole group. So that's my whole group. Play, consume, sleep. We just can't talk.
So you are like the most introverted of the extroverts, and I'm the most extrovert of the introverts.
Yes, that's where we completely, we perfectly align that way. And like anyone in that whole category, if you hear them talk, they're just like they'll play energy talk, which is just yodeling, lots of random talk.
Right.
But just overall energy, they'll get exhausted fast.
Yeah, and then like kind of defining the terms here, like what is introverted and extroverted? It's not necessarily energy levels.
Okay.
Like that's a big thing that we're really seeing. It's
depending on.
It's really kind of, and Carl Jung as well was kind of really defining it this way. Like the introverted functions are answering to the inside world.
Right.
Subjective. Like what is true for me? What is best for me? Like I'm learning all this stuff. What am I going to take away and how do I organize that?
Yeah.
The extroverted functions or extroverted animals, extroverted energy
responsible to the outside world.
Right.
Making sure it works out here.
Right.
Or those are my functions.
Yeah. So like, for example, we'll see people that will be very calm, very quiet, very antisocial, but still technically an extrovert because they got the blast and the play.
Oh, yeah.
And they're responsible to keep their house clean or pay the bills or do the yard. They're banging around or learn a lot.
Yeah, right.
Gather in a lot.
OE. Yeah, if you're like an EP, it's like you're still an extrovert because you're learning, taking in the whole spectrum of new information.
Right, because people kind of think like they kind of classify like FE or TE or as extroverted. Like you could be quiet.
Depends.
Right.
Yeah.
So think of it like allegiance to the inside world or the outside world.
Yeah.
That's it. You could be banging on the outside world a lot and not say a damn word all day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. I got some clips of a lady we did for one of our classes, Arlon. And she's a very interesting type. She is right in here. Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, go ahead, point to it. They can totally see
I know,
with
but
your
I'm
finger.
helping you with your damn sensory.
So
consume, sleep, which those are two animals that are both the introverted animals.
Right.
So consume, taking in new information. So that's an extroverted, new out there variety, right? But it's for the self. And then sleep energy is just your two introverted functions. Your OI, which is SI or NI, and then the DI, which is FI or TI. So for her, SEFI, but it's also consume and then sleep. So she's going to be way introverted.
And the blast is last, so she's not going to be wanting to teach it a whole lot.
Right.
So I'll play a couple clips of her, and you'll notice a very introverted vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Very mopey, very quiet, very reserved. What we'll kind of focus on is like her strong confidence in self.
Yes.
She's also a double decider, so she has a good relationship between self and tribe. She's not kind of a tribe weirdo necessarily.
Right.
But it's funny because in the Myers-Briggs system, do you type this person as an introvert or extrovert?
I would say introvert.
But her first function is extroverted.
That's where it gets confusing.
See?
What advice would you give to others, and particularly, other entrepreneurs, in terms of finding that sense that there is a way forward and that is the only option?
The themes that come up again are about knowing your own value, knowing what you're willing to sacrifice, what's important to you, because in my opinion, there is nothing that's worth a check. Like nothing that you could sacrifice or gain that is worth a check. And so like just being so deeply, truly yourself as a non-negotiable is the answer to everything else. I think every other question that I get asked, it always comes back to be yourself. Be yourself. Be true to yourself.
That's somebody that this wasn't a life discovery. This is something that she uses as a tool all day long.
Right. Classic introvert syndrome. Yeah. Answering to the self, answering to the inner world. So, I mean, you should be able to see her as possibly an IP.
I would think so. That would how it would become off.
She would type in a Myers-Briggs system as an IP. Oh, your lead FI or TI, self.
Right.
And you're very, very introverted. You must be an introvert. Your first letter must be I.
The thing to kind of look out for, too, is that when somebody is communicating about something, you're asking, like, what is a savior? What's the difference between a savior and a demon? In our terminology, it's what are you responsible for?
Right.
Not that I discovered this and I now have to do this thing that I'm not naturally responsible for and it's hard for me. It's what are you responsible for default. So Arlon there is responsible by default for my way of doing things, my own personal opinion, who I am, and I got to know that, and I got to be strong in that, and I got to actually be taking that with me as a tool.
I just think that being yourself and being authentic, and I say this a lot, but I think that being yourself, being true to yourself, even through all of this, like I'm not putting up some, fake, I could lose money here, I could lose money for other people, I could lose money for myself, but I think it's going to work out because I'm being myself. So that is like your biggest asset, is being yourself. It's also your biggest fist in the air is being yourself, because you have to live with yourself. And all this stuff is going to come and go. Like in 3 years, there's going to be something that everybody flocks to that's not venture capital. It's just going to change like this. And so if you're out there selling your soul for some VC money, what have you done that for? So, nothing's worth a check.
Same message.
Yeah.
Got to be yourself and don't give in to what other people say.
That was interesting. So it's good always to see a coin. Every time you hear somebody be like, be yourself. And then like the good guy in the story should be your saviors. Usually that's how people kind of portray their saviors, is that's the good guy in the story. The bad guy in the story, and you could say, obviously she's not saying, it's bad to do this all the time, but like
going with the trends, going with everybody else.
Group think is what we'll hear from the DIs, is like, that's bad.
So watch this. This lady here, I've seen her on the news quite a bit over the years. I have no idea what type she is.
Okay.
But she feels like she's definitely more extroverted.
Okay. I was like, as soon as she did the fist in the air
thing, I
watched her go, is the audience okay with that? Okay. I was like, that's what I saw. I'm like, I wonder if she's DE. That would be my question. Is she DE? Because a fist pump in the air, me as DE,
is one of these to the tribe.
Yeah, and I'm going, did anybody get offended?
Right.
Okay, so that guy might have.
So watch that again. So she's playing the archetype of the role of I care about the tribe, more play above sleep.
That's interesting. Yeah, I saw it. Okay, cool.
Is being yourself.
She's like, you guys cool?
Pinging off. There's DE.
That was a ping.
Yeah.
Everyone okay?
Whether that's in a savior demon state,
I can't prove. Yeah, I can't prove it. But look at her smile. Look at her smirk. She's like, okay.
And she doesn't care?
No.
She doesn't care if everybody hates that?
Because she, from her perspective, so like I've talked to people who are DIs other than just you, right? And their perspective is like, I'm responsible to let other people do things their own way as well.
Right.
And so like they'll see it as like, if I were to ever tell anyone to do something my way or the way, I'm taking away their individual DI rights.
Right.
So it's not like they're just be like, fuck everyone. It's like they're seeing that as more of like, I'm giving you the gift of making your own decision.
Right.
Right. Permission to be yourself.
Yeah. Tons of disadvantages of being a self above tribe.
Sure.
Right? Because you're kind of an asshole. You're kind of like not paying attention to what other people are doing. You're not caring because you're kind of in your introverted self world, right?
Right.
But the benefits of that is like you can really kind of program yourself.
Right.
And that's kind of a loop. Internet talks about loopers and stuff. It's like, if you're super introverted, if you're super self introverted energy, the outside world can't break in and help you because you're not extrovert decided. You're not going, what do you think? What do you think? And then the tribe's like, I think you should get some help. You're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then you go get some help, right?
You have to move you.
Yeah, you got to move you.
Yeah.
If you're super introverted, super DI or whatever, right? So like one thing that she did, because she's a big investor, big time business lady, and she started with sleeping on a blow-up bed, being very poor, right?
It's crazy.
And she really took on her own responsibility to lead herself, to build herself. Let me play the clip here.
Yeah.
During that time, it's just a lot of like talking to my, like in my head, like just, it's just a wheel that I have. And speaking of wheel, there's this video that Will Smith has. He didn't have it on YouTube. Somebody made it of all his inspirational things. I listen to things like that. Like watching things, having access to internet was such a wonderful privilege during this time, because I did have a laptop with me and I did have internet at different places. And so watching people who inspired me, I mean, I consider that part of strategy. You have to surround yourself. If you say you have to surround yourself with people who are positive and you don't have those people physically with you, surround yourself with Oprah.
Yeah.
Have Oprah in your ear talking to you on video. Watch episodes of this show. Go back and just watch different episodes and just build yourself up until you have other people who can.
You've got it. Like, I don't care what type you are. You have to be responsible for your identity. I mean, like a lot of the stuff that we've seen is like, if you don't build it into your identity, you're not necessarily going to do it consistently. You know?
Yeah. All right. So in closing, I got some clips for you of some introverted people that are shoving back against the tribe.
Okay, sure.
Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. Okay.
Okay. Stand up for yourself.
That's the message for today.
Okay.
Stand up for yourself. Push back.
Okay.
Get out. Fuck out of here. Hey!
Oh, yes.
Starry and Narcy.